Hi, I'm Jonathan Friz, and I'm here with my friend Greg Healy from Fairfield County, Connecticut. And we're going to be talking a little bit today about kingdom finance and business. Greg, you're a businessman, and just wondering if you can share a little bit with us. Well, first of all, what does God have to do with business? Those seem like mutually exclusive things, but tell us a little bit, before we get into that, tell us a little bit about your story,
Sure.
some of your background and history.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. My name's Greg Healy, and I am a businessman, as Jonathan said, and God has really taken me on this prophetic journey in my life, and I've gone from a career on Wall Street, which went very well, and I had many aspirations and expectations in that. And he has really changed my perspective, I think, on what business is for and about. And that's why I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that today.
Great. So tell us a little bit, when you were on Wall Street, what did you do? How much money did you make? What was it like? And what are you doing now? What's the change that you've seen? Or start to take us on that journey with you of where God's taken you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when I was young, I had real aspirations to be successful and wanted to prove to the world that success. And I thought that I was always fascinated with Wall Street and the financial markets. And so I set my heart upon success in that area, and so I got opportunities starting off in my career to join one of the major Wall Street firms. And at first it was an internal position that was really a cost function, and my desire was to be on the revenue side of the business. And so one thing led to another, and I was able to get into sort of a dream area for me, which was investment banking. And as an investment banker, my roles and responsibilities were to work with clients, CEOs and CFOs of major publicly traded companies to help them with their financing needs and to advise them in terms of mergers and acquisitions and things like that. So that's kind of how I got my career going and what I was focused on and being successful in. And then God really got a hold of me and sort of showed me that my pursuit and my ambition was really about myself, and it was really not God's perfect will. And so I've been on this journey since then, and going through other steps in my career in Wall Street to another major firm with even greater responsibilities, and then out to start my own firm. And so what I thought was, when I started my own firm, that this was the answer. I would just do businesses I had done and had the opportunity as an investor to invest other institutions' capital, and that we would do well and we would do it right, meaning we wouldn't do anything underhanded in terms of our activities. Mm-hmm. And we would make money and use the proceeds individually for whatever God would lead us to in terms of building the kingdom and doing things like that. But
And that sounds great.
does sound pretty good.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's kind of like I wanted to become a type of, say like the George Soros is, but the one who's wearing a white hat, a white knight. Mm-hmm. Someone who could make this money and then use it for good. And the thing that's wrong with that, if you will, or it's not wrong, but it was misguided, was that God is about the journey, and he's about taking us through whatever we must go through, this is my experience, to understand that how you go about doing something is as important as the end result. And so doing business the way that it's normally done, or doing investing the way it's normally done, is really a focus purely on profit. And it's just about making money. And then we sort of put our money-making hat on, make the money we make, and then we turn around and do what we would like with it. And if we do charitable good works, we think, well, this is the purpose of money. But what I've come to find out is that by this experience that God is about the business itself, not being so much about making money, but really helping people. And that it's not a function of like a means to an end, and the means and whatever justifies that means is acceptable, but rather the actual act of commerce itself, the act of financing itself in business, that's what matters to God. And to do it just the way that everyone else does it is to essentially operate in things that may produce a temporary good result in terms of making money. But the way you get there may be in a manner, for example, if you're driven by fear or you're driven by greed to go after something, the way you go about doing it in and of itself may cause a trouble, not only to you but to others, the people you're working with, investing for. And when I really started looking at the behavior, the intricacies of business, I started discovering these issues. Like, okay, so we form a contract. Why do we form airtight contracts? Why do we make them extensive and legally airtight? Well, principally because we don't want to necessarily just trust the relationship of whomever we're entering into a contract with. We want to be completely protected in the event there is no relationship.
Right.
That sounds like wisdom, but the problem is that it essentially is putting ourselves at odds with one another, or it can,
Right.
where if everything's okay, maybe you do well, I do well in this relationship, but everything is not okay, we can go to war and I'll win because I have a better contract. And I think God's not focused on that. He's focused on, how do we work together? Why are we working together? And how can we help one another, and how can we help others in our working relationship? And that's the most important thing. So I started discovering a lot of those issues, if you will, in the way that the business world and financial world works.
We're going to take a break here and come back and talk about some of these issues in business and finance, and start to just dream with Greg about, well, what does it look like to do business God's way?